sound over here.
All
Oh,
right.
Julia's up. You're live right now. Can you
I'm
imagine
live.
that?
What's up? What's up? What's up, Clapback Culture? So glad to see you guys another Thursday episode. And I am live in studio, like I said before, with the Big O Show. What's up, Big O?
Julia, Jesse, what's happening?
What's up?
No, well, first of all, welcome back.
Thank
You know
you.
what I'm saying? It's good to see you here back in the Black Media Matters studio. We've had a few different updates and a few remixes to your lifestyle since you was back out here in Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, do we go there now? Or we just
Oh
talk about it right
yeah,
now?
look, you guys. I mean, as you guys know, on the last show, if you missed it, in case you missed it, I am having a baby.
Hello.
So I am 5 months along and carrying very well, very happy, very healthy, and looking forward to having my first baby. So shout out to my baby daddy Rodney if you're watching, boo.
What's up, Rod? So on behalf of your colleagues here at Converge Media, we was doing some mathematical calculations because that's what we do in our free time.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I just y'all didn't waste no time.
No, we
That's
actually.
all I'm saying is like it was free Rodney, and next thing you know, it's like, oh yeah, baby Kennedy or Cairo's out the way. So I mean,
Yeah.
it was very efficient in the use of your time.
It was planned too. Like we've been planning to have a baby for a long time, so we just got right to it. But this baby was conceived with a lot of love. Okay?
Hello. A lot of friction too, but yeah, I'm sure the love was there as well.
A lot of love. I love my baby. I love my boo. But we're really excited and really happy to bring another, a combination of the two of us into the world. And I feel like I'm old enough now. I got, my career is straight. I don't feel like I'm sacrificing anything. I feel like everything is just in perfect alignment, and it just totally manifested itself in the right way. So I'm really happy and feeling blessed.
And what's the due date now for baby Cairo or Kennedy?
January 2023, you guys. So January 7th. I hope I can make it all the way to the 7th. So we'll see. My mom is guessing that I'll deliver early because she had both of us early. But January 7th, 2023, I will drop the registry if you guys want to, shower me with a few things. Shower baby Kennedy or Cairo.
Hello. There you go, Mr. Director. That wasn't just a hint. That was a directive. So look forward to this directory, Clapback Culture fans. And, let's do our part for baby Kennedy, Cairo, And also, I wanted to point this out. And actually here, we'll see. We'll wait till our photographer's up and running so we can get a shot of it. But Clapback Culture, when you take our anchor shows, which is no longer there. So actually, if I do the math, because
y'all be mathing,
Morning Update show is no longer on air, and the Day with Trey is 3 or 4 months old, and then beyond that, there is Seattle News, Views, and Brews, and Clapback Culture. Clapback Culture, your show. I just did the math and realized this. You have the longest running show on Converge.
Yep.
Wow.
Consistency is key, you guys. Listen, I like to put in the time, as you can tell.
Yo, this started off as the post-election analysis show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This started off as the post-election analysis show. And now here it is almost 2 years later. Next month, November would be, because it was after the election 2 years ago, is when you came on air. You have the longest running show on Converge, my friend. Hats off to you.
Thank you. And thank you so much to our viewers, you guys, because without you, this would not be possible. So without our viewers, without, everybody at Converge who puts in the work, shout out to Cuddy, because he's also been, rolling with us, putting in all the work. I know he'd be dealing with all my stuff. So shout out to you, Cuddy, for lasting this long. I mean, I've even survived my co-host. You're my second co-host.
Yeah, look at you. You got the. So we got the photographer on the set. I know we got to launch it, so let's do this right now. I'm sorry, Miss Sherry. Can you hand me that little itty bitty thing over there, that gold thing? Go ahead, go grab that real quick for us. There you go. And so you weren't here for this big night.
Mhm.
This was, thank you. This was our biggest night. And when in regards to TV, the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, and believe it or not, they gave us an Emmy. Never should have gave you.
No,
They gave up, but let me just hand this to you.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Our longest running show on Converge Media, right here. This is our longest running show. Clap Back Culture, Julia, Jessie. So proud of you, man.
Man, thank you. I'm actually like really, really, really proud of this because you know, a lot of times you can be a part of organizations and, you know, someone at the top can win an award like this. But I feel like at Converge, you know, I feel very valued. I feel appreciated. And I feel like my hard work went into winning this, you guys. So thank you, Omari, for all of your mentorship and helping to cultivate the brand in a real way. But this really means a lot to me in my career in journalism and all the hard work. I think about our days grinding in East Africa.
Well, something people might not know as well is that me and Julia, we go way, but we go back like racism. Me and Julia, it was over 10 years ago. We were working together in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, Nairobi, Kenya. And it was wild because Julia came over and we were working for a very big company at the time. And, you know, OB&O, I had other ideas, and I started my own company, Dynamic Media at the time. But it was dope, right? We ain't had no money, of course, like as usual. But I had Heineken as a client and Moet Hennessy as a client. So I had the two best clients ever, and this was the start of social media and everything else. So we were the social media agency for Heineken for like 3 countries, and Moet Hennessy for like 4 countries. And we got to do a lot of dope stuff. Yeah, Zantel as well over there.
Zantel, and you're missing one more, Diageo.
Yeah, exactly.
And Diageo, which was
all
huge.
The liquor stuff. Yeah,
because there was Belvedere in that, and there was
Stoli,
exactly. Yeah. Stoli vodka was in there. It was tons of stuff. I
basically, mean, we was getting lit in East Africa while working,
getting paid to go out and drink. You guys, it was. But best times.
There's you have an interesting perspective that a lot of people don't, because you know I tell a lot of people here when they see Converge in Seattle, they see one part, but they haven't seen me and us on the world stage, and that's really how we used to move around, is like 100%. On the world stage.
Listen, and that's really where a lot of, and we talked about this earlier, this is really where a lot of the hard work comes into play. Was doing things when nobody's watching. And in East Africa, we didn't have the cameras on us. You know, we were turning the cameras on other people and creating social media influencers before it was even a thing. Man, it's crazy to see all those guys in Tanzania now just blowing up. I mean,
Millard Ayo has 7 million followers.
Millard Ayo is the TMZ, the Shade Room.
It was the first with 1 billion views over there too.
Oh yeah,
and he used to be an intern for us.
And he like responds to my tweets. Like he still looks at my content. I'm like, dang, Millard Ayo still sees my stuff. Okay, shout out to you, Millard. Shout out one time to Millard. But I mean, even Vanessa M. Day and Omi Dimples and
Diamond Platinum
on Netflix now. A whole new like Netflix special.
WizKid.
Man, all
these guys that
when
the rest of the world is like, yo, these guys are dope. Almost a decade ago, we were sitting there talking about all these people: WizKid, Burna Boy, Davido, Mafiki Zolo, AY, Diamond Platinums, all these people, Victoria Kimani, all these people. It was like a decade ago. We was like, yo, these people are the shit. It's gonna blow.
Yeah.
And so to see it now,
and they can see us now too. Shoot, y'all can see us now too, right?
Okay.
So this means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to you, but this is when we was in the trenches. I would have never thought we would have got to this point. So
that's for sure. When we were sitting over there, and I mean, it ain't never, and even with this, it ain't like we went to get nominated or something, man. People just saw our work and was like, we need to recognize Converge, because that's always who we've been. Is that we just really been focused on our work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But this is dope because it matches your hair and your outfit. And go ahead and tell them one time for the camera. Behold.
All right, y'all. Well, look, behold, Norfolk State viewers, if you're watching, I also did this for you guys. My communications journalism class of 2010, Norfolk State. I'm bringing this home for y'all. Support Behold the Green and Gold. And look, let's go to commercial. And when we come back, we're going to jump right into the show. Stay tuned. You're watching Clapback Culture.
Baseball is a beautiful game, especially when played in community. Earlier this summer, Baseball Beyond Borders took a powerful, eye-opening journey through the heart of the South, which included baseball, civil rights, and reconciliation. Our young kings hosted a baseball clinic at Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi, and hit the road to Montgomery, Alabama by way of the historic Edmund Pettus Bridge to visit the Equal Justice Initiative Museum and Memorial, all in an effort to ground our kings in their history and find serenity in the sport they love to preserve the cultural legacy. Join Baseball Beyond Borders on September 27th for the premiere of our film, Reconciliation Tour, at T-Mobile Park's Ellis Pavilion from 3 to 5 p.m. Hear from those on the front line as well as special guests as we elevate our promise to bring healing through play. For tickets or to donate, visit baseballbeyond.org or check our social media platforms.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Clapback Culture. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but listen, social media and TikTok has gone viral, you guys, but viral in the wrong way. Did you guys hear about this new purge law that is coming out of Illinois? Well, I am here to bust down some of the misinformation because, baby, this is something good for the culture. There is no such thing as a purge law. We do have a quick video that explains it. So let's go ahead and play the video, and then we'll come back and I'll break it all down to you. Stay tuned.
Illinois will be the first state in the nation to end cash bail starting next year. And that is sparking a concern that more criminals could be out on the street.
Grady Trimble is in the loop and breaks down this law, which is called the Safety Act.
A number of states' attorneys and sheriffs are sounding the alarm about Illinois' plan to end cash bail. They say it's going to make crime in the state of Illinois worse. The new law that goes into effect January 1st, 2023, gets rid of cash bail entirely. It also limits who can be arrested and held in jail based on the crime they're alleged to have committed. The Democrats who voted for this law say it's more equitable.
You've been denied a bond because you're dangerous, which is good. Let's deny dangerous people bonds. But if they have a bond, we're saying you're not dangerous. We're just going to keep you in jail because you're poor.
But those in law enforcement who oppose it say it'll lead to hundreds, if not thousands of people being released from jail as soon as it goes into effect at the beginning of the year. They also say it'll make our communities more dangerous with suspects in future crimes roaming free.
There is nothing just, and there's nothing, promoting safety about allowing individuals who choose to break the law to threaten and to hurt innocent people, allow them back on the streets to do it again. That's the opposite of justice, and that's the opposite of promoting safety within our community.
Now, listen, you guys, I always want to present to you both sides of the argument. So that was both sides. So let me break it down to you a little bit further. This law is called the Safety Act, and the safety is really an acronym for safety, accountability, fairness, and equity today. And it's going to eliminate cash bail for the following criminal offenses. So just bear with me real quick. Second-degree murder, aggravated battery, arson, drug-induced homicide, kidnapping, burglary, intimidation, aggravated DUI, drug offenses, and threatening a public official. Okay, now that sounds like a fully loaded clip. I'm not going to lie. But listen, what it's saying is that it's requiring pre-trial fairness. And so everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And so what's going on now is if a judge does not deem you a safety risk, they're not going to put up a cash bond, right? They're not going to say, okay, we don't see you as a safety risk. We don't see you as a flight risk, but we still want you to pay $5,000 in order to be set free. So you're not going to be detained because you don't have any money. And so really, it's not an issue of whether or not you're a danger to your community. It's really now you're being detained because you can't afford to go home. And so I stand with this Safety Act. This is not about non-detainable offenses because you can absolutely still be detained if you are considered a danger to the community. So, Omari, I pose this question to you. What are your thoughts on this new piece of legislation, and is going into effect January 1st? Let's also keep in mind that New York is already doing this, and some of these offenses are also the same in Washington, D.C. and in New Jersey.
It's the purge. You know what? As someone who has a loved one, my son O, who lives there in the city of Chicago, who unfortunately, like, it's crazy. I think that's why he don't tell me his movements these days, because you know, in certain parts of Chicago where he says that he's going somewhere, and I'd be like, oh man, can't sleep, can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? All of that being said, that like, yeah, I definitely got a bias around all of this because, you know, I mean, actually, if you have a minute, I see it's your clock here. Do I have a minute? Can I go ahead? All right. I think that the reason why this is getting a lot of pushback, you know, on, I mean, one, it's the propagandists. People are always going to do what they want to do or whatever. But it's like, as a community, a lot of times we don't have a willingness to hold people accountable for the crimes that they commit against community members. And I mean, let's just be real about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even right now here in Seattle, there's hella programs that are cool, and I'm glad that they're there for people in reentry, right? But someone might have paid their dues to the state of Washington, but they ain't paid their dues for all the people, young people that they turned on the crack, or all the people they turned on the heroin, or all the fucking bank licks that they got young people running. So they pay their dues to the state of Washington, and then they out, and then they feel like now they're getting paid again because they spent 20 years and they're supposed to be talking about whatever. Like, that whole system is it has some issues with it, right? But more specifically to what you're talking about is that I think that this law has been mischaracterized. I think that's the biggest issue with it, is that, you know, it was able to get on social media. I actually saw this a week ago with my son when he was here before he went back to Chicago. He showed this to me, and we were looking at it like, word, you could do this, you could do that, you can get it out. So I think a lot of misinformation is around it because there's a wide variety of things that could occur that actually get a charge. And that's what people don't realize. And the police is also really good at articulating through their pen that you done some fucked up shit that you might not have even really done, but it looks crazy on there. And now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, it's an offense that you're being held over for. And so I think that people sorting out like, hey, these are offenses that aren't bailable, but then also a whole nother side of this, jumping on a bandwagon and creating a narrative that's false. Both of those are true. It's not a but. I feel it's an and.
Absolutely. And I think you bring up a good point. If someone is going to be detained, it shouldn't be because they can't afford to bail out. And we are innocent until proven guilty. And so that presumption of innocence is there. And this is what criminal justice reform looks like. You know, it was a small conservative group that pitched this into social media that allowed it to go viral. And they, you know, tied it to the purge and put in the purge music and all of that as a scare tactic, and to install fear in individuals after they see this. But I think this is what criminal justice reform looks like when we're having conversations about what the criminal justice system can and can't do, we have to look at the whole person. And so this is giving the judge the authority to take a look at the whole person and not condemning them because they're poor. So I think this is going to support a lot of Black, brown, and indigenous people who show up into the courtroom. And I'm all for this.
Yeah, I mean, the issue of whether you did something or accused of doing something and you're a threat to your, you know what I'm saying? If you bail, the whole idea of bail is to make sure that you appear, irregardless of the crime. And, you know, clearly bail is set. The seriousness of the crime, the higher the bail. But the whole point of bail is that you appear. And if a judge feels that you're going to appear, then they should have the latitude to be able to get bail or not bail based on this. A lot of people who PR. I think that there was an NFL player who got in a domestic violence dispute here. You know what I'm saying? Who I believe was able to PR out. You know what I'm saying? Where if it was me or you, but that was the whole point, is that this is a person who's employed by the National Football League, who has a home here, who's a business owner, who's not going to like get a passport and disappear somewhere. So a judge felt comfortable being like, you know what? I don't need any money from you. I have no doubt that you're going to appear. You see what I'm saying? Where, of course, if it was me or you or something like that, we would have had to put up a bond because the judge would be like, I don't know who you are. You could disappear on me tomorrow. I need a bail. I need a bond for you. That's the whole point of it, is the appearance or whatever. And so a judge being able to have some discretion to be like, oh, word, menacing a public figure, threatening or whatever. Oh, yeah, we ain't got no history on you. You know what I'm saying? You don't even live in Illinois. You don't even whatever. Yes, I'm going to require bail, as opposed to like, oh, you threatened a public official. You work at the school, Chicago public schools. You've been here 30 years. You're a homeowner. Your kids are in school here. Okay, I'll PR you. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it makes sense. But unfortunately, the narrative on this, my friend, has been cooked.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the PR on this is crazy. So, just listen, guys, make sure you guys go and read this bill, read what's in the black and white, make the determination for yourself, because it's definitely not the purge law. There's in some other news, you guys, there is a 17-year-old Iowa teenager who is a survivor of human sex trafficking. What makes this interesting is that she was initially charged with first-degree murder after stabbing her trafficker 30 times in his sleep. But the judge gave her 5 years of supervised probation with a lot of terms and conditions underneath that. But the Iowa state law requires her to pay $150,000 to the man's estate. Let's take a look.
Tonight, a teenager, the alleged victim of unspeakable crimes of human trafficking and rape, after fatally stabbing her alleged rapist, will stay out of prison. But a court ruling Piper Lewis must pay $150,000 to the family of the man who raped her.
The events that took place on that horrific day cannot be changed, as much as I wish they could.
17-year-old Lewis pleading guilty to involuntary manslaughter and willful injury in the 2020 killing of 37-year-old Zachary Brooks. She says he raped her multiple times in the weeks before his death.
I wish the events that took place on June 1st, 2020 never occurred. But to say there's only one victim to this story is absurd.
Her charges punishable by up to 10 years each in prison, but the judge taking a different path at sentencing.
Ms. Lewis, I will defer your judgment.
Lewis given 5 years of probation, but she could be sent to prison if she violates any part of that. Her conviction also carries an automatic requirement by Iowa law to pay restitution to Brooks's estate. The judge saying the court was, quote, presented with no other option. Lewis's attorney disagreeing at sentencing.
If you defer judgment, Mr. Brooks' estate is not entitled to any restitution whatsoever. And frankly, his estate doesn't deserve it. because of his own conduct.
A GoFundMe started for Lewis has now exceeded that amount, saying the excess money will support her continued education. Lewis was just 15 when she stabbed Brooks more than 30 times in a Des Moines apartment. Officials say she was a runaway, seeking to escape an abusive foster home. Piper said in court that a man took her in before forcibly trafficking her to other men for sex. She testified that one of those men was Brooks, who repeatedly raped her at knife point.
So you guys, this is an absolutely gnarly situation. I mean, it goes back to mandatory laws and, you know, just things there that you have to think about. But prosecutors and law enforcement officials, you know, involved in this case do not argue that this girl was sexually assaulted and victimized. And so it just seems very obscure that she would have to pay this $150,000 to the family's estate. I just cannot wrap my mind around this.
Yeah, I think that, like, if you want to put it in technical terms, this is crap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. And the thing is it'd be crazy because this same judge and these same prosecutors and all these people who are like, yes, you know, the system needs to work more towards victims and blah, 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 and this and that. Here you are as a victim right here, but the victim is a young black girl. And so her being victimized isn't moving you enough to be like, this law is crap. This statute is crap. So somebody who was serially raped, a young woman who was serially raped
at 15 years old,
15 years old, as opposed to being like, you know what, this is something we need to change. You're like, oh yeah, we're going to stick her with this $115,000, 150, whatever the amount is. And by the way, if you don't pay it all off, you're now in default of the judgment and everything else. I think it's horrible, you know, and it really just tells you when people talk about the value of lives, we talk about this all the time, you know, what's the value of this young woman's life?
Yeah. I think one of the best things that came out of this story, you guys, is that there was a GoFundMe set up and it's up to $250,000. So her entire restitution is going to be paid, and the remainder of the money, you know, advocates are asking that she use this to go towards her future education. And so she has 5 years of some pretty strict probation rules. The judge really peppered her and was saying, listen, this is going to be a tough 5 years. And should you fail to comply, you're facing 20 years in prison. So we wish Miss Lewis good luck on this.
I just really want to go on the record and say that I think that's some bullshit too. You know what I'm saying? Like this judge, Uncle, what's Uncle's name? from the Boondocks, Uncle Ruckus. The judge over here. I mean, this is a victim though, and this is what I'm saying. I'm being consistent in my stance. Day after day here, we deal with people who are the victims, and a lot of times it's the family of someone who's a victim of a young person who's been murdered or killed or whatever. This young woman was a victim. And the way that the court has approached a victim of this crime, I think it's crap. It's horrible. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that whatever, maybe it's all going to work out or whatever. But you know what? Because this is a black woman, she's seen as a statistic. She's seen as anything but a victim. And you can see that in the news reporting. You can see, we watched it earlier, Victor Blackwell from CNN, the black brother, was like, oh, she barely escaped prison time. Nah, cuz. She wasn't supposed to get no prison time.
100%.
She was a victim. But that's what I'm saying. When it's black women, it's so easy for people to put it in a box. It's so easy for black women to be victimized. And people just like, oh, okay. So I don't know. I feel some kind of way.
I think you are valid in feeling some type of way because she's not even a black woman. She's a black child. And at 15 years old, when this child stabbed her assailant 30 times in a bit of rage because she had been raped over and over and over again for months, you know, it really speaks volumes to where she's at. And she's going to have to live with this trauma forever. And I think it is a disservice to her that the judge is setting so many high restrictions in terms of her probation. And I really hope that some of the money that was raised on her behalf is used to really support her rehabilitation, because she is going to need wraparound services. She is going to need therapy. She is going to need a mentor. She is going to need secured housing. She's going to need everything. And it's going to be an all hands on deck approach, because if you're coming from that kind of lifestyle, this girl was living in hallway apartments before all of this happened. You know, her background is that she was adopted and then went into multiple foster homes and, you know, kind of fled from abusive and disruptive lifestyle. And so this is not something that just happened to this child overnight. And so we really have to really think about the whole child in this situation and see how this plays. But imagine you only have 5 years not to make a mistake. She's a kid. She's absolutely going to make tons of mistakes. That's just what happens when you're a kid growing up. And you know, she's 17 right now, but she's probably 17 going on 11. You know, there's still that innocent little girl deep down inside of her that needs a lot of healing. So we pray for her, and we support you know, Miss Lewis in her journey to recovery. But this is an absurd case, you guys. So we will keep you posted if there's any new updates.
Yeah, but I'll give it back to you. I just think this is crap. And really, bruh, who was judge on this, it really should have been a different perspective on this. And I feel that, like, I don't really be trying to jump on the race thing often, man. You know, I let it be. But I really feel that this is a young white girl who fought off the people that was victimizing her, that was sexually trafficking her and everything else. But I feel that the criminal legal system would have came with a different approach on that, and they're able to get away with this time and time again because it's a black child. As you say, if this was a white child, then the approach would be different.
It would be.
Yep.
All right, you guys. Well, listen, we do have some feel-good stories for you. So the new preview, the trailer of The Little Mermaid came out, and we have some strong black girl magic reactions. Let's go ahead and take a look.
This is how black kids reacted to the new Little Mermaid being black.
Is it? I wish I could. She's a black girl. She's black! She's black! Yes! She's black! Mama, she's black! What? She's like me!
All right, you guys. Did you guys see how much representation matters? So this is what I really wanted to bring this to you guys and serve it up to you strong, because representation really, really matters. You know, when I was coming up, I loved The Little Mermaid. I loved Beauty and the Beast. I loved Cinderella. But to have those figures look like you, to be a little brown girl growing up and seeing your face, seeing your likeness on the screen is just so valuable and important. And, you know, this is just, it's such a feel good to see that. So Haley Bailey, you know, who is Beyonce's protege, is actually starring as The Little Mermaid, and it's coming out in March of 2023. I am so excited to go see this movie. And I'm really enjoying all the viral reactions of all the moms posting their little brown girls who see themselves and who just can't believe that they're on screen. So this is beautiful. And if you guys are going to go take your kids, let me know and post their reactions. Let us post it here on Converge so we can share in the joy.
Yo, so a few things. It's like, one, I recognize what you just said, and that's dope. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I can sit here and be all mean and tough and gruff if I want to, but watching those reactions, those little girls, that was dope. That was real special for sure. I would say two, unfortunately, the hate is out. There's all these different groups, Christians against The Little Mermaid, and it's like, yo, The Little Mermaid is black. I mean, it's white. This is crap. And oddly enough, this doesn't happen often on YouTube, but there's more dislikes than likes. So 1.5 million people have disliked this video. So more people have disliked it than liked it. But all of that being said, is like, I think that is dope. I think that, you know, representation matters and everything else. But I think this is a perfect opportunity for us as Black people, especially Black people who make film and Black people who you know what I'm saying, in that position. We make TV. It's a bit different than film. Is it? Yeah, Walt Disney and everything that Walt Disney did is going on 100 years. But Walt Disney was able to create stuff that attracted so many people, even Black people, in representation, whatever. And so this should tell us why it's so important that Black filmmakers and Black movie makers and Black entertainment, because right now we're seeking validation by Walt Disney making a traditionally white character Black. But we really have the power and potential right now to be able to creating Black our own. And it's like, yeah, we're older, so we're going to look at it different. But if our kids are seeing that now, just like it's 1-2 generations later, you know what I'm saying, with The Little Mermaid, the Lion King, I saw that, when I was a kid when I saw the Lion King, but a generation later, my kids saw a whole nother, the Lion King. So all I'm saying is, this is a wake up for us, for people that are in the content business, for Black folks, that it's like, let's not 20 years from now have our kids again on TikTok being like, oh my God, so-and-so is Black. Let's use our platforms to start, doing our own thing.
Yeah, I think that it helps us roll right into our next story, which is Shirley Ralph, who just won an Emmy, just like us, Omar. We just won an Emmy too. But she won an Emmy for her role in a comedy series called Abbott Elementary. And that was written by Quinta Brunson, who is a Black screenwriter, and it's about an elementary school and growing up in an impoverished neighborhood and kind of like taking back and taking charge. And she did an amazing acceptance speech. There's really no words I have for this. Let's just play the clip and we'll come back and talk about it.
I am an endangered species, but I sing no victim song. I am a woman, I am an artist, and I know where my voice belongs. To anyone who has ever had a dream and thought your dream wouldn't, couldn't come true, I am here to tell you that this is what believing looks like. This is what striving looks like. And don't you ever give up on you, because
And this is why representation matters, because still in 2022, she is the second Black woman to win an outstanding role in a comedy series. And so we are still making triumphs in film. We are still making triumphs in media. And this is a beautiful moment that should be celebrated. I absolutely love that she sang Endangered Species. She really said that this is just a song that has always spoken to her heart and made her feel good. And it really is about the power of manifestation and planting that seed and going on and on again. This is the original Golden Girl. You know what I'm saying? The original. And there's just not enough we can say about Shirley Ralph and all of the successful achievements that she's made and paved the way for so many Black and brown women that have come after her. And I just think this was amazing. I love a good viral moment, y'all. You already know, because she was looking good. Okay, hair was laid. Sis was in that dress. She was still giving, but just the power of her presence coming onto that stage and accepting that award and saying, I finally did it and I never gave up. So if this is not a manifestation for a story for you, I don't know what else is.
Yeah. She made a lot of white people uncomfortable. So, so cheers to you. No, I mean, I'm not on that kind of vibe, like just to make, whatever uncomfortable, but it's, I mean, man, I could only imagine what it's like to work in Hollywood and really be dope and really just be looked over. We really have, and this was the only year that we had it, but it was dope because we wasn't looking for no awards. Right. We just been over here working. But now we got an award, and now it's like, oh well, man, is Finding Go Emmy worthy? Is Reconciliation Tour Emmy worthy? Is Soul Pole Emmy worthy? You know what I'm saying? Is The Truth with Proof Emmy worthy? Like, it's all of these things now, right? And you think about it, and in your work and everything else. And I just know for sure, and all due love and respect and everything to the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences here in the Pacific Northwest, because these guys showed up and showed out, and that's how we won this award. But I just know that it's like, man, a lot of even how we talk, we communicate, we translate. Yo, a lot of people don't get that shit, man. Mm-hmm. This is different. Like her accomplishment is big. And I'm glad that she used that moment. And especially like us, we knew what was going to happen. But to not know, like, you go there, you show up, you be there for 3 hours, you don't win anything, you go home. So for her not even to know, like, that she was going to win and to be able to deliver that was fire.
It was amazing. And I think, to your point, it adds so much value to the work that she's doing. And you're right. Now that we do have an Emmy here at Converge, you always think about, all right, how do I take it to the next level? But I think that's always the energy that we bring here is, what more can we do? What's the next story that has to be told? And how can we be better? How can we do more? How can we continue to serve our community in a better way to tell those stories that are often untold? And so, I don't mind having that weighted responsibility on us to continue to achieve, higher bounds. But I sit in a position of being humbled by it. I think there's a lot of work that we do, and it's because we're unapologetically doing it for the people. You know what I'm saying? And as long as we remain authentic and stay true to the course and continue to manifest and plant those seeds, we're going to be fine. So if we don't ever get another award, we'll be fine, because we got it in 2 years?
Yeah, well,
it took her 25 to get this.
2 years for them, 6 for us, but definitely not 25. Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, so this is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, what you said, it's the exact same. You know what I'm saying? Anyways,
all right, you guys. Well, look, I know you guys heard of the tragic news about PNB Rock, his passing, his murder on Monday. Listen, you guys, we have to talk about this. Do you think the geotag photo caused the murder of PNB Rock, you guys? I'm not quite sure. So I was having a conversation with my colleagues in here, and listen, a lot of people go to the West Coast and go to LA and they think this shit is sweet. There's just no other way around it. No other way to say it. PNB Rock is originally from Philadelphia, and he was out in LA. He went, was having a good time. He was there with his girlfriend. I believe his child was there as well. And he went to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. We all love Roscoe's, but why would you pull up to Roscoe's with no armed security? You went to the one in Crenshaw, you pulled up in a Maybach, and you had hundreds of thousands of dollars of jewelry on your neck, on your wrist, and then you got into an altercation with your assailant after you geotagged a photo. So not only did he geotag a photo, but his girlfriend geotagged a photo. And law enforcement officials out of Los Angeles are saying that is how the assailant found out his location, you guys. So social media has not been too kind on this. There are a lot of celebrity reactions. Let's go ahead and put some of those up, Cuddy. Listen, you guys, like this one right here, this is a Lil Boosie. And you guys can see what he's talking about. He's saying you guys better be strapped. Okay, I don't know why you're out here if you're not going to be ready to shoot. Keep your hand on the trigger. I don't know if that's good advice, Boosie, because listen, if somebody's trying to rob you, just give it up. Let's see what I think Nicki Minaj is next. Nicki Minaj said this. She said, Pop Smoke, who's also on the same label as PNB Rock, he geotagged his location, and he was shot and killed while he was visiting Los Angeles and robbed in, I think, the Airbnb that he was there.
I was there in LA. I was actually there, and I was 2 miles away from where Pop Smoke got murdered in LA, and it wasn't that he geotagged his crib. It was something else.
It was
that he posted that had an address.
It was a gift tag.
Right. And the address was there, and they showed up at his house.
And again, it goes back to if you're in that position, unfortunately, you are not a normal person. You have to be, you have to keep your head on the swivel. Let's get some more celebrity reactions to this. So this right here is just out of control, you guys. This is a DJ Academics who had just did an interview with him just days before, where during that interview, PNB Rock was talking about going into a retail store where he felt like he was about to be robbed. He was also talking about, how his girlfriend was really green and she kept trying to stop at all these stores. And he kept telling her, like, listen, I can't just go in here. Like, we cannot change the course. So he kind of already felt like he had a target on his back. So it's a really sad situation that this has happened. Social media is trolling his girlfriend and really putting the blame on her that that PNB Rock died because of this. You can put that back up with Ice-T, and then I want to bring it back to Omari for some remarks. Ice-T is telling y'all, listen, LA is not to be played with. Don't come here and play with these streets. A lot of people come from the East Coast and they think that is just sweet. They don't understand this LA gang culture. They really don't understand, I think, California gang culture as a whole. And he's telling you, like, listen, LA rappers are not going out wearing jewelry. Not Snoop, not Cube, not Dre, not Kendrick. And the list goes on. It's not because they're broke. It's because it's dangerous. Why test the streets?
All right. So I got quite a few thoughts on this. One, if you want to go the label route, right? Like, here's an artist. Why are you testing? Why are you doing this and everything else? What label is he on?
Empire.
So, I mean, if he's on Empire, that really, to be honest with you, I used to be in that music industry. Is like that should really come down to like his manager, not his tour manager, his street like road manager. You know what I'm saying? Of like, man, this is a dangerous situation. I've been in them rooms like, man, this isn't good. We should do this. We shouldn't do that. That's the label part, right? And if you want to talk about the girlfriend and everything else, then I think that you have to tie in the one thing people aren't talking about, and that's the shooter.
Come on.
How the fuck the guy who pulled the trigger get out of this scot-free?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, they shouldn't have geotagged. They shouldn't have. Whatever happened to the guy shouldn't have murdered somebody over jewelry. And this is the thing. So we see response from Ice-T. We see response from DJ whoever. We see response from all these people, and it's relevant. But nobody's saying like, yo, the shooter was wrong. Where's the value of life here? And it's one thing when it's on a celebrity level, and and maybe we're kind of detached and we're kind of whatever, but we find this right here in our own communities in Seattle Central District, in Seattle South End, where everybody is the problem but the shooter.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if it wouldn't have been whatever, then blah, 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 this and that. And it's like, yo, this person decided to pull a firearm and kill somebody. And so I think that that's the biggest tragedy about everything that's happening here. Fine, you shouldn't geotag. Great. You probably shouldn't wear your hundreds of thousands of dollars of jewelry in
Crenshaw.
in LA. Like, people should realize, like, yeah, that's probably not a good move. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of other things. But I think that it's totally irresponsible for all of these big voices and everything else not to call out the actual shooters, the perpetrators of the crime.
I agree with you 100% on that. And I don't think any celebrity has come out to say anything to condemn the shooter at all. And you make such a valid point in bringing that up, because we are really quick to say, you shouldn't have been caught slipping, right? And there are ways to mitigate that risk, but at the same time, we have to change this culture, right? We are so quick to kill each other over things that are invaluable. When it comes down to this jewelry, nobody's even going to pick this up to buy it. Okay, nobody's going to want to put their hands on this jewelry. It's all marked, it's labeled, they're going to know what it is. They don't want no parts. And in fact, even if the jeweler does pick it up, it's going to be at a fraction of its actual value. So it's very disgusting what has happened to PNB Rock. It's more disgusting, I think, that social media and celebrities are using their platform to come out against the girlfriend and make her, who has lost not only the love of her life, but her child's father, in this, who she's not even looking at as a celebrity, to think about Nicki Minaj, a woman who is married with children, who can probably put her foot in this woman's shoes to say, it's your fault that you geotagged your location over some chicken and waffles. She's sitting with her man. She's not sitting with PNB Rock. And so if it were a mistake, then she made a mistake. And so will she be wiser the next time? Absolutely. But he wasn't either. And I think that we have to remember that despite LA gang culture, and despite where we are with this trend, this uptick in gun violence, this is not something that we ever need to condemn the girlfriend for. And we absolutely need to wrap our arms around her and tell her, like, this is not your fault. Because in fact, even in his interview with DJ Academics, he already said he felt like there was a target on his back. So he already knew. And let's just be frank. If you pull up in the hood in a Maybach with $100,000 or more of jewelry, somebody in the back calling the hood,
your neighborhood,
and not your neighborhood, and your PNB Rock, a waitress is calling and being like, "Hey, PNB Rock is in here." Somebody's posting and doing on social media. That's happening.
100%. But this is what I'm saying. What other community? This is where we're wrong. What other community in our country, what other community where people will be like, oh, the fault is everybody but the perpetrator? Yeah. And you know what? Until we're willing to look ourselves in the eye and be honest about that, it's like, oh, she shouldn't have tagged the photo. And just for people who's out there geotagged, it's like when you tag, you're at, the ice cream shop, you put on there on Facebook, you tag that you're there, who the geotag is. Look how crazy this is, that normal, rational people have to come to the rescue here to be like, hey, well, what about the person who actually pulled the trigger? That you have celebrities with all these big platforms like, oh, well, they shouldn't have done this or that. How about the shooter shouldn't have shot? I mean, all these people, it's horrible. I'll be honest with you. It's horrible. And that's where we're at right now. And then that's why when we be hearing all this crazy stuff that people be talking about, like the criminals running the streets and everything else, well, shit, if Nicki Minaj is going to give you cover for murdering somebody, you know what I'm saying? It was the victim's fault. Why wouldn't somebody feel emboldened?
Yeah, I mean, this is a fully loaded clip, no pun intended. Listen, you guys, if you're out there, take the advice of the OGs. Please, protect yourself at all times, mitigate your risk. But should something happen, we as a community need not to go against the families in this situation and condemn the victims. This is victim shaming at its finest. But look, y'all, that is our show tonight. It has been wonderful coming in studio with you guys. I am so happy to be here and so happy to see the Emmy in person. Okay. Well, look, you guys, when you're not here, Omari, where can they find you?
It's easy. I'm everywhere like air, man. Just breathe in, breathe out. But you can find me on Instagram at Omari Sal, OMARISAL.
All right, y'all. And I'm your host, Jules Jessie. You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Treasure of JULES. You know what it is. Until next week, be safe, have a great weekend, and peace.